Hey guys, I'm in motherfucking Oklahoma right now. Land of the, I don't even know. I know nothing about Oklahoma at all. Like, I wish I, had some information that I could share. You know what, I actually do know, because I have this friend that loves to share everything about any state in the US because he plays, Hearts of Iron 4. So, I actually do know a few things, and what he's told me is that basically what I've seen already, which is that Oklahoma is barren and there's an occasional Indian here, which I don't know what that means, because the same thing can go for New York, but that's not like a Oklahoma exclusive thing. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, I was on the phone with him last night. I was trying to just rekindle our relationship a little bit, because I go on a lot of long ass streaks where I'm just like not talking to anybody, because I need a lot of time for me to figure things out and just, take a minute to look around me and think, what the fuck what have I been thinking recently? Because sometimes stuff doesn't feel like it's always so linear. Sometimes I feel like there's gaps between, like at some point I just stopped experiencing life or something. I have to always remind myself the sequence of events that led up to right now. Because I feel like I'm not always watching life. It's not like I just forget things. It's just I'm not always paying attention to what's happening around me. And I have to remind myself that just because I don't remember this experience, it doesn't mean that my mind wasn't somewhere else. It's not a matter of when you have or haven't remembered life. It's just things that you are experiencing that you're remembering, and it might not be this life. I always go to try and think that I'm not talking about like, man, I went off the rails with that explanation. I'm trying to say like the world around you, your senses and your brain, and how you can be looking at one or the other or both at the same time, which if you only look back for things you remember that happened in your life and you have gaps, maybe it's because you weren't looking at, you know what I mean? You're gonna make yourself feel like you aren't there all the time when you actually are. You're just looking somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if that's exposition is the word. I don't even know if I'm using that right. I've been blundering my words a lot recently because I'm trying to get them out as desperately as I can. As much as I can, I'm trying to get all my words out. I'm trying to just talk and just say whatever's on my mind, bro. And I have a lot of my family members have the same problems as me. I'm Italian now. I actually am Italian. My dad likes to pretend that he actually grew up in Italy. He's a funny dude. But what the fuck was I saying? I was talking about, sometimes I feel like when I'm trying to remember something, it's like, it's right there. I actually do remember it, but I'm focusing more on trying to remember it rather than, and it's so annoying doing that. Because I get the whole idea like, well, I get the whole idea like it's, maybe you're just looking in the wrong aisle, and just gotta take a step back for a minute. I really want to know what the fuck I was talking about though, but I also don't want to just stop talking and put more of my focus onto remembering that. Look at all these goddamn chocolates I was eating. These are so good, bro. Lump of fucking coal. This is my birthday present, by the way. Bag of coal. And I'm not complaining because it's funny. And this shit tastes incredible. Not all milk chocolate tastes really good. Even though it's my favorite chocolate, not all milk chocolate tastes good. Some of it tastes like ass. I think Hershey's tastes like ass, but this shit is fire. That lump of coal. I also got a $200 gift card, so I'm probably gonna be getting Black Ops with that. And I immediately went on Amazon. I was looking for all the things that I could get with $200. Like, I need to get something that is of the most use to me for the longest time with this $200. But then I was thinking, like, maybe I can actually just turn this $200 into more money. You know, that's always my game plan. That's always been my game plan, is to figure out how to manage my own money, because I don't want to end up being that person that just fucking blows all their money. And also, I want to prove my parents wrong, because my whole life they've had this idea around me that I'm bad with money, because I have told them before, I don't care about money. And this goes back into, I should be more explanatory on what I actually mean, because I didn't literally mean like I don't care about money, I don't care about making money. I do. It's an important thing. I can see that. I'm not blind to it. But I think what I meant by that is money isn't an end-all, meet-all. I don't know if that's the right saying. Just kind of threw something out that sounded interesting. It's not something that it's not something that I see value on beyond the point of what it's actually useful for. You know, I'm not gonna hoard my money. I'm not gonna avoid spending things on other people, and you know what I mean? It's just, money is money. You save money because you need to live, and anything other than that is just, it's useless for. But you also need to learn how to manage it, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. So I'm trying to see, like, how can I turn this $200 gift card into something else? And that might be really dumb, but also I am really dumb with money. I'm 18 years old now, and I never actually took the time to figure out. I just did a whole different hairstyle while I was talking about all that. But I'm really into just like doing this with my hair and leaving this little twisty part. Even though it looks really shady, I'm just imagining. It's the vision of what it's gonna look like when it's long. I think the family's back. They went to get gas. But no, I have to get good with money. I think even now it's a little bit late. Not too late, but it's a little bit late to be trying to figure this stuff out. I guess it's that ADHD shit, which I still don't even know if I have. I have symptoms of ADHD that I've dealt with my whole entire life. And I don't know, because a lot of people will tell me it's just laziness. You're just a lazy ass person. But like, bro, I've thought about laziness as a concept a lot. And a lot of people who are lazy will never admit themselves as being lazy. Or some of them will. But I feel like they're just acting as if it's a hard pill to swallow when they really deep down don't understand themselves. And if they did, they would know that it's not actually laziness. It's just either like ADHD or some sort of like dopamine issue. Because there's people, and I've looked this up and I've researched it, there's people who, the way they explain it is that their day is like, it runs off of like a couple spoons, and every activity that they do, I don't know why they use spoons to explain this, could just say it's energy, but like everything they do subtracts a spoon. You brush your teeth, you get out of bed. I don't know why you do that in that order. You think about why you do that in that order. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't think about that, and that doesn't, you don't have to think about that, so you don't understand it. But you would understand it if you did experience it, you know? But sometimes you have to understand that you don't need to understand things to believe it. You don't need to understand things to, you don't need to experience things to believe it. And it's not always just a blatantly just believing things and going around. No, I'm a pretty, what's the word? When you like don't believe what you see. That's me. I don't be believing a lot of things that I see, and I'm always questioning things. But when it comes to this, it's different. When it comes to people and things that they deal with that don't affect others really, and they keep consistently trying to say the same thing, I think it's worth a shot to just believe what they say. So, you know, it won't hurt you to believe, just believe that that person isn't actually lazy. They just, it's not that they just don't want to do it. It's that you have something in your brain that gives you the energy to be able to do all these things, so you don't have a reason to think about not being able to do things. So all you know is that, well, the only way I wouldn't be doing things is if I just didn't want to. But you have to be able to stretch yourself beyond that idea and think that maybe, okay, now the AC unit's on, but you know, I didn't know I could talk this much. I have a lot of things to say. I like to ignore my own mind and either ignore my own mind or tell myself that my mind is empty, which itself is just an idea that is reoccurring. I've recently figured that out, that the idea that my mind is completely empty is just an idea. And it's like OCD, and it keeps coming up, and the only way I can actually get past it is by not giving it anything. Is by just looking at it and just not, but I also had to figure out what is just not giving it a thought anything, because that is a foreign idea to me. How could you have a thought and not give it anything? Like, even trying to resist a thought is you giving something to the thought. You're like, stop. You know what I mean? You're still putting your hands on the thought. But it's a hard thing for me to conceptualize, seeing a thought and just letting it happen, because I think that some part of that, a fraction of that thought, no matter what, is still under my own control. And it's like my responsibility to figure out how to fix that thought in some weird way. And I'm kind of realizing now that it is a weird way. It is a weird thing to do. I never really thought about that trying to look at your thoughts as if you came up with them, and it's like your responsibility to try and just shut them off. And I wasn't ever really trying to shut them off. I was more of, I was, but in like a weird way. I'm always trying to like look at the thought and hyper fixate on it, to the point where like I start to think that I'm like seeing all the inner workings of the thought, and then, oh, there's the switch. Meanwhile, it's just like a meta thought that I'm having about the thought. And now I'm just like 10 feet deep inside this thought, when I could have just stayed right where I was and just watched it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard for me. I feel like the answer to it is to just realize not to try and just like look at, okay, how do I stop doing this? But to look at what you are doing. Just watch yourself do the thing that you're trying to avoid doing. And then see what happens, what thoughts that you had in that, what thoughts came up while that happened, and like, just see how The fuck you motherfucker. This AC is so annoying. All night it kept going off. And for some reason, I'm fine with it being on or off, but just the transition in between is really annoying because my mind is like in tune with it. It's a consistent noise. It's, you know, it doesn't change. It's like smells. Your mind gets used to it. But it's just the changing of it. Oh, I just hit my head now. It's just like on and off and on and off. Like if you were in a room where the smell just kept changing, you couldn't just like get used to it. Oh my God, bro. I was up till like 1 in the morning. Yeah, I watched the Penguin Z0 ASMR video, which wasn't really that good. He's not that good at ASMR. They were just talking about bullshit. Yeah. But back to what I was saying, like I'm having that thought right now. Right now I'm thinking like, oh my God, you just ran out of things to say. But then I can just sit and look at it. Figuratively, I can just look at the thought. And if I'm thinking that looking at the thought is actually controlling the thought, I can look at that too. But it got dangerous for a while with that whole watching because I didn't understand it. And I knew that it didn't really make sense. Like something ain't adding up. Like how could you possibly just sit and watch a thought without figuring out a way to sit and watch the thought? And so I would sit for like an hour and just like, I would go so deep into these thoughts and I would feel like disgusting while doing it because I realized like midway through, all I've been doing while trying to find peace is overwork myself. Now I'm like stressed out I'm in a worse position than when I started, but I thought that what I was doing was the right thing. That's kind of a hopeless feeling to get. That's a low end, bro. That's the bottom of the barrel to experience. But I'm kind of getting used to experiencing. I'm kind of used to the idea that what I figure out could just be completely wrong. Well, guess I'm just gonna leave that behind me, figure something else out, or maybe I have nothing that I feel like it can figure out. Well, that's what it is. That's all it is, my brother. You're just lost in the sauce. Sorry. Yeah. Last night I got into a fucking horrible fit of rage. And for me, right now in my life, rage is a weird thing because when I feel rage around my family, because of the things that they've done to me in the past, rage is just a bad feeling to have. When I feel that anger coming on, the first thing I feel is you need to stop feeling that. And then I feel, well, I'm scared to feel that. So now I'm feeling scared. The more angry I am, the more scared I am. You get what I'm saying? So it ends up in me being in this like stun lock state where I just don't know what to do or what to say. And to the outside world, it looks like, well, he's just an idiot. You know, and that shit fucks with me a lot because that adds to it also. I'm still aware of what other people are thinking around me. And it's just all compacting onto it. My brother is really just a douchebag sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Because, let me get into this. So, I was just on my phone. I was holding it up just like this and I was brushing my hair. I was using my phone to brush my hair. And then my sister and my brother are laughing at me. I'm like, what's funny? What's funny about me brushing my hair? Like, and then I was like, do you not use a, they're like, yeah, it's just funny. You're using your phone to brush your hair. Do you not use a mirror? And then he said, yeah, I do use a mirror. And bro, I just want to say, like, I wanted to say to him, like, you think what you said is smart, but it makes you make less sense. Like, is my phone not doing the same thing in mirror? Like, now it just doesn't make any sense. But I know that if I would have said that, it would have led me down a whole different path of rebuttals from him that would have made me more angry. Because he would have said some shit that's just like, well, you just don't. He would have made me feel like I just didn't grasp what he was getting at when he said, yeah, I do use a mirror. But, like, if you think about the details of it, what does that even mean? There's no mirrors in this room, so I use my phone. And all I said was, why is that funny? Which I guess, like, I can't tell them to not laugh at things. It's whatever. They find something funny, but I just wanted to know why. And it didn't make sense, and it still doesn't make sense why I thought it was funny. And then that wasn't all of it. I was like, what are you talking? I was like a little bit irritated after he said that, because I didn't understand it. And you also have to understand, he is always this person. If he says something like that now, he's always saying things like that. This isn't him in any state of emotion. This is just him natural. So I have years of that built up, and he does shit like this all the time. So I'm already mad because I know that he's not gonna listen to anything I'm gonna say. And I just brought his hair. So then he was like, are you PMSing? And he has a big fucking smile because he knows what he's doing is fucking ridiculous, bro. Are you PMSing? And he's about to burst into laughter. I'm like, bro, now you just took everything that I just explained to you that we had this problem with, and you added something into it that had nothing to do with the original argument. Am I PMSing? You're throwing a joke out, but it's like a disrespectful joke. Like, you weren't explaining how you were feeling. You were just throwing something out just to throw it out because you thought it was funny. And all I was doing the whole time was trying to explain to you that I was like confused as to why you were laughing at me. And then from there, I think what happened was, I was like, what do you mean am I PMSing? I was like, why are you just adding to it? Why are you just adding to the argument? It was unnecessary. And then he goes on about this whole, well, you're in a bad mood. Mind you, the entire day before, nothing was going on between me and him. Every single time I tell him that he does something that doesn't make sense to me or I don't like, he says, are you in a bad mood? For years, he says the same thing. He tries to get out of having to explain himself, having to deal with my problem that I have with him, and his way of doing that is saying that I'm in a bad mood, so there is no problem, it's just me. He has an incapacity for looking at himself and saying, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? So he's just saying like, oh, why are you in a bad mood? And bro, so I'm already pissed off because he does this shit so much. I'm just like, all right, bro. And because I can't answer that question because it's so fucking dumb, why am I, bro? He thinks that means he won the argument. You know what I mean? Like, I can't expect him to take it any other way. Like, he thinks that if someone doesn't know what to say in response to what you said, that you won the argument. You're right. I'm not trying to win an argument. That's the thing, though. That's not what it's about to me. I'm trying to explain to you something, and you're turning this into a competition that I didn't know it was. And, bro, if someone is actually in a bad mood, I'm pretty sure your mood, something that happened to you earlier in the day, it only adds to things that are actually happening. So no matter what, bad mood or not, there's still a core problem. And by only focusing on the mood, and pointing that out and just acting as if the problem isn't there, you're actually adding to the problem. All you're doing is just ignoring something I said to you. So he just keeps adding to it. And I'm like, all right, bro. I just keep saying, all right, whatever you want, whatever you think. And then even if you say that, bro, it has to, when it comes to an argument, he has to be completely right in every which way, or else he's not okay with it. So if I'm just like, all right, bro, you're right, you win. He's like, what do you mean I win? What are you talking about? You have to be at the point where you're saying to him, like, you're completely right and I'm completely wrong about everything. Or else he's not going to accept it. I think what he actually wants is for you to just be quiet and just shut up in response to what he says. That's where he's really pleased with the argument. But, like, then my whole family comes in. My mom and dad and the sister are all in here, and the brother. And he goes, oh, I don't know why he's in a bad mood. He's in a mood. I don't know why he's in a bad mood. And they've been doing this shit where they'll give me, it started as if I have anxiety, I would take an edible from my mom. She would give me one. I swear to God, she was okay with this. And she turned it into, whenever we have a disagreement and you're pissed off, I'm gonna offer you a gummy because you're in a bad mood. So she sits next to me, she's like, why are you in a bad mood? What? Bro. Why are you in a bad mood? Do you need a gummy? And then he looks at me dead in the eyes with a big smile. I swear to fucking God, he knows exactly what he's doing. You want one gummy or two? And I'm just looking at him like disgusted, honestly. There's nothing about this that's funny. I would never say shit like that to somebody. You want one gummy or two? Like, I don't think I've ever met someone more condescending in my life. It just pisses me off. And I think to myself a lot. I'm always second guessing myself. But then I look at them and I realize that they have no doubt at all that what they're saying is wrong. There's no doubt. The second there is an argument and I'm involved, there is not a single doubt that the other person is wrong. Never. They are saying this shit with a wide smile and a large stance. I don't know why I said it like that. A large stance. But like, dude. Just because I'm second guessing myself doesn't make me wrong either. Just because someone's mad, just because someone's second guessing, no matter what someone thinks about themselves, that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not what they are saying is true or false. It's the details of the matter, not what they think about themselves. They always like to throw in, like, why are you so nervous then? Why can't you say it with a straight face? Why can't you? And like, my brother always does this shit where he'll piss you off and then he'll try and make you laugh afterwards. And then I see people that literally are okay with that. Or he'll ask them if he does it to other people, bro. And I see them like kind of dazing off, kind of like thinking to themselves, like, this can't be right. Why the fuck is he saying this? But they're just like okay with it. They're just like, yeah, you're right. I didn't eat this morning. Okay, but what about your point? What about the point you're just gonna let him get off because you... What? Like... I feel like I'm the only one that sees through this. But then even if I said that, bro, they'd say, oh, well, you're the only one. That means you're wrong. That doesn't... No, it doesn't. I hate that shit when people like to say the amount of people that believe something makes it right or wrong. You're telling me that if there's 10 people and 6 of them believe one thing, then that one thing is suddenly the right thing. Bro, the amount of people that believe something does not make it true or false. I never try and tell them all this shit that's just like, well, if you look at the amount of people that believe it, if you look at everyone's facial expressions, you're actually in a bad mood. You're all this shit instead of just saying the details of the matter. Instead of just going through what we actually thought about each other. Like, I'm trying to actually go somewhere and figure something out with this argument. And all you think it's like child's play. You think it's like a joke. It's just how pissed off can I make Nick? Like, alright, bro. None of them see it either. I'm the only one. I am the only one that sees it. And it's not like I only see it for myself and my art. I see it in their arguments too. I'm like, bro, you guys would not be pissed off at each other if you just, like... It doesn't make sense, dude. I feel so different because of this, too. I always feel left out and everything. But all I'm asking for is to be listened to. I'm not trying to win an argument. I'm trying to have you understand what I think. Make Me Happy's calling. I went on a rant for 32 minutes, so I gotta go. The life you live is the life you choose, so don't be going away sipping, drinking booze, alright? That's my quote for the day. See ya, lads.